Hi everybody, this is Judy Parcell. It's berry picking time. These are blackberries, and every morning I go out for a walk, and I take a camera with me because I never know when there would be a photo op. And I found one this morning, and when I'm out walking, I take a little baggie with me and I pick blackberries so that in the winter I can have lovely blackberry smoothies. Or blackberry pie or whatever. So today we are going to draw blackberries. And first of all, we're going to look at this picture and look at all that's going on with it. Down here in this section, I have leaves. These are blackberry leaves. And then you'll notice the berries are in different stages of ripening. And then there's some where the berries have been picked, probably by me, a few days prior. So you get these little wild childs, I call them. Anyway, the red berries, of course, are not ready for picking. The very dark blackberries that have shine to them are ready to pick, and I get blackberry blood all over me, and I love it. Nothing better than that. So today we are going to draw blackberries because they're in season, and I want you to remember that we're going to use very simple principles with this. First of all, I don't give darn at all about the background on this. I am strictly interested in the sprig and the berries that are on it. I am interested in the leaves because they have the shape of the leaf and how they look. But I'm not necessarily going to put the leaves here. I'm going to probably intersperse them behind this cluster of berries. So let's get started. Now at the top of my frame, I'm not going to draw the line in the corner. I'm going to drop down a little bit below that and just draw. Remember the string? Oh yes, indeedy. So we're going to borrow the string from Zendoodle. Now I'm going to run some other strings, as we say, off the side of it. And if you remember the leaf, I used to stagger the veins on the leaves. You do this pretty much for the clusters too. I think I'll bring another one kind of off here because they're not all even. The weight of the berry is going to drop below the stem. So for the most part, your berries are going to be below that. And keep this simple. Always keep things simple. Draw the berries, but just do a circle. And you're going to do these all light. And you're going to do several on them. And you kind of stagger them. You don't make them uniform. You don't want to make it monotonous. You want to make it interesting. Another berry here. Maybe another partial berry here. Now the berries are going to be in different directions, so I'm going to show you this off to the side. You're going to have berries that go on a stem like this with that little cup. Remember the cup and the flowers? Okay, there's that cup. Then your berry's going to be kind of like in that kind of a shape. And then you're going to have the berries that go like this and like this. I'm just doing this cup. And the berries will come out kind of cone-shaped like this with circles. So different angles for different berries, different strokes for different folks. I'm sure you've heard that. And here, all I'm doing is making the general shape, and then I'm putting circles in there. It looks like berries, pretty much. So that's kind of how we're going to do the berries, but I just wanted to show you that off to the side. So I'm still placing berries in various places. And then I'm going to have the, I'll do some more circles because what I want are some of those wild childs in there from me picking the berries. Wild childs, you'll see what I mean. Now, it's funny because I'm going to draw this over here. This would be a wild child. It would be a little dot, and then you're going to go north, south, east, west, and then everything in between. Remember, we did that. We still go back to basics when we're drawing even very complicated things. So you just keep going out there with a wild child. Okay, so that's kind of what they look like after you pick them. Now, if we refer back to the picture, see the wild child? That's what we're doing. Alrighty. So in these, I think I want to draw circles. And I'll put a dot here for the wild child so I don't make berries out of all of them without thinking. There's a wild child there, and there's another wild child. Alright, so the rest of these are going to be berries. And what are they attached to? Just do a string like that, a string like this, a string like this, a string like this. Now remember that we are not botanists, so this is our interpretation of what a blackberry sprig is going to look like. And we may not even show these little stems in the end. We'll see how it develops. So we're going to draw these circles in a circle, circles in circles. Okay. This one I think I will make it look cone-shaped. There we go. This one can have a stem and a stem. And we might go up like that a little bit. There we go. That would be more interesting. Okay. Now they're different sizes. There's little ones and there's big ones. So this one will be a leaf and a leaf, a little tiny leaf. And then we'll go with circles here. Here, make them a little bit bigger. Where I live is big time wilderness country, and I'm very careful when I go berry picking not to have a bear join me, which can happen. So I kind of scout out my territory just to see. because the best berry picking's down by the river, of course, because the berry bushes get the most water. Okay. That's looking a little like a flower. Kind of think I want to change that one up a little bit. So I think I'll shape this like a cone to keep me from doing that. And you'll notice that I put these little leaves that hold the berries. That's much better. Hold the berries. These are the pods that originally were closed up before the berries acted. Kind of hard to know how to do berries here. You know, I've already done one video and trashed it, and I didn't even like the drawing I did, so here I am, all these thousands of years being an artist, and I still don't always know what things look like. That's why I use a camera. And I'm good at eating berries, but maybe not so good at drawing them. I think I'll make these a little bit bigger. It's a little exaggerated there. Yeah, I still have to move this, even though I have this set to the size of the screen. That's amazing. Okay. The wild child, north, south, east, west. So keep all these little strands from lopping over in one direction. Okay. I'm just suggesting this. I'm going to be coming in with pen and ink on this, and a lot of this is going to get obscured because the lead on the pen point is a little bit thicker. Look like they're kind of screaming at me for taking their fruit. Kind of fun to think about. I'm a fantasy writer too, so I have this imagination that doesn't quit. Let's see, I think I want to make that berry a bit bigger. I kind of do the shape so I can kind of figure out what size is this berry going to be. Now, of course, I do everything in pencil first. That's my rule. You don't have to if you're really confident, but even after so many years, I'm not. Here's another wild child. Okay. Now for the leaves, I'm going to take you over here and have you take a look. The leaves are shaped kind of fat, as you may have noticed in the picture. Kind of fat teardrop shape. And you got a vein like this, but the difference here is that berries that have prickers on them, which I haven't drawn any of that in yet, seem to be reflected in the edges of the blackberry leaves, so they're not things that'll stick you. So I always kind of go like that. If it's awkward for you at that angle, I would just do this. Sometimes you can do it at this angle, but you can't manage to draw the same thing at the next angle. So this is good. Remember that the mind fills in what's missing. So there's your basic leaf. Now I've got to integrate it in here, but I think what I need to do is I'm going to move this. You can move your paper around. I want to give these stems some bulk because they have to carry all the nutrients and all the water and everything to the berry. And you'll notice I tapered that off. Now I pick this up here and I taper it off. And I taper it off. Start here. All the nutrients are going to the berries. Then you could just do that. Just a little bit here. Okay. I think I want to do another berry here. You know, these little cups that hold the berries are almost like stars. Stars are fun to do. One of my favorite things. If you could look at that, you would know that that is at the basis of the berry. See? Some side drawing here. There we go. That'd be the side part. That's how it would look underneath if you do a few things like this, so it doesn't look like a star. You gotta fake it till you make it. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to this. And I want to make this. Okay, I'm looking at this. I think I'll make this one a wild child. Now the leaf that I went over with you might be coming off of here, off this stem. And you want to do it behind so you can bring out the berries. Now here I'm just doing this because don't draw it over the berries. Draw it under the berries. Then that saves you having to erase and make it make sense. And don't forget your little things. Now, another leaf might be here. I'll just do this big leaf like that right underneath there. You know, this is kind of cheating. You're filling out the composition. I'm not sure of myself here. Okay, so there's another leaf. And then I could do another leaf here. Make it go behind here. Just sketch it out real quick where you want it to go. Remember, just do a teardrop. I'd extend that out so it doesn't get lost in the berries. And when you do things this way, it lends interest. If it's behind the berries. Now we can go in with the ragged edges. And if you want, and it's more comfortable for you, turn your paper. Okay. Now I can do the ragged edges. There we go. Is there anything else I want to do here? Yeah, I want to put all right. These are the pens that I use for pen and ink, and down here I'm kind of looking at the maybe between the F and the SX. This for a little finer work, this for like the limbs or stuff. If you have it too thick, it's problematic. You'll see what I mean as I go along. Do I have the SX? I do. Now you notice I mentioned oil base here because I want the option open whether I'm going to use watercolors on this or not. And I don't want the black lines running or smearing when I go to apply the watercolors. So I need to know what the base is at the liquid ink thing. Is it oil or water base? Now on this water base one, this is Micron. It's a Japanese pen, Sakura Micron. I love these, but you have to wait until the ink is dry in order for it to be waterproof. And with this one, it's just waterproof. So I don't want to do a whole piece of work and have something smear on me. So of all of these, I think it would be very wise to start with the S. The thinner point. I can always make it thicker, right? So I will wait on that one. Move this out of the way because I need that. So let's move this back in to position. And I might just add, before I do that, I kind of want another leaf sticking up here and going off of the page, out of the picture. That balances it a little bit more. Need a little bit of veins in here. Okay, let us rip with the pen. See how well I do. You will notice that when I put this composition in, I did not go clear up to the corner. I kind of offset this. It's much more interesting. Remember, you want to do odd numbers. And in here, I have 4 leaves. Uh-oh. How about putting a 5th leaf? Do I need to drag this down? I think I need to bring this down a little bit. So I'll kind of bring another leaf here. That's an awkward position. Put it right here. There. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Let's see how this works. So what we did here was we had berries in different positions. We had berries that are not so ripe, berries that are ripe and ready to pick, and odd numbers. So here we go. I'm going to start at the beginning, the stem. Once you lay this in, it's laid in. You can't change it, so you can come back to add to it maybe, but that's it. And then you don't have to think because the lines are already drawn for you. That's an added bonus. Okay, there's a stem here, be careful, and this is kind of continued on here. Okay, it's wee. Oh, there is another leaf here. Then we're going to do this and then this. Put your little veins in, just enough to suggest. And off of here is a berry stem. See, you'll know by the time the pencil drawing's in if you like how your stuff looks. So after that, it should be easy just to put the berries in. Nice big berry. Here's this thing. Now, I'm not going to put that circle in. I'm just going to go north, south, east, west, and I'm just going to follow along. These wild childs don't have hairdressers, so This doesn't have to be even. There we go. Then you want to draw a stem off here. Now these little ones, they really don't show the leaves as much, but there you go. You know, the berry bush I've got that I pick at has wild roses growing in it. And I would add that here, but I'm trying to keep the lessons very simple. The leaves on roses, wild roses, are very similar to raspberries, but they're clustered different. They're smaller and more of them. I love how wild roses, now you'll notice I'm burying this behind. There we go. And because this is like this, you have a stem going like this. I did notice that they kind of did that. I thought, that's interesting. Kind of stylize them a little bit. I'm going to put another wild child here, I think. That's what we'll do. North, south, east, west. I'm glad I did this video over. I was so unhappy with the other piece I did. Shame to show it to you, because I really didn't plan myself out. Okay, here's another wild child. I want to get her going. North, south, in between. Should make it thicker. It's really brushy. I'm going to move this because it's easier for me. The skiggles. Let's get those skiggles going. There you go. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. It's much easier to see this stuff behind the berries after you start laying in some pen and ink. Squiggles. And make all these circles for the berry sections, different sizes. Again, you want to lend interest. You don't want it all to be uniform. So keep that in mind. You definitely want to, okay, keep that in mind. These berries are different sizes, if you recall me saying. I kind of take liberty there and put a little tail on there because it's part of my style to be cartoony. Ooh, my little hand gave way there. I put a trail cam up, my first one I've ever had. First time I put it up, it didn't take anything, and I'd forgotten to turn it on. I've been having some odd things happening in the little inner garden I have. And so the second time I figured out how to get it to run, I took the card out, you know, they're on SD cards, and it's funny, all it was pictures of me watering. So nothing has shown up yet. I guess it knows that I have a camera. I'm looking for raccoons or possums that are disturbing my water fountain. See what comes up. Pretty funny though. You notice I connect it with a stem. I make sure there's a stem connected to the berry or the wild child's, because you got to kind of do that. Can't lie that much. I kind of exaggerated those little cups that hold the berries, but that's the liberty I can take, and you can too. You can, you know, go, oh, well, I'll put a squiggly here and a squiggly there. Why not? Okay. I think I want to position this a little differently, this leaf. So before I, more of a, I think I want to kind of do it this way. Yeah, that's better. Okay, I know what to do here. Okay. All right. Just about done. Okay, another squiggly. I'm going to do a combination of both of these. Go like this and then up like that. Then I'm going to do that. That puts it in a different position. Did you notice that? And this is like this and like this. So we have the impression of a leaf. Okay. And there we have it, folks. Change things as I go. It's funny, you have to kind of warm up with your art. And I'm going to let that sit a minute. Let's look at this. You know, that in itself, if you applied a Photoshop filter to it, would look like a painting. It's really a pretty picture. I must have shot it in the right light. Okay. Now we're going to erase. And I start where I started, just in case the ink is a little wet. I'd hate to draw all of this and have it smear on me. Okay, I wanted to show you a neat little trick. I bought this on Amazon. This little ladybug vacuum. I have carpet in my studio, so I don't like to brush things off. So that was a solution to that. Okay, there we are. Now I can go from here and I can do this in watercolors. I can do it in colored pencils, so the options are mine. Thank you for joining me in my studio once again, and I hope you go out blackberry picking. It's fun. Talk to you later.